Hey, gang, guess what? You know what time it is? You're probably thinking it's Wednesday, and it's probably a Wednesday. No, folks, it's Groundhog Day again. And you know why I say Groundhog Day? It's because we just can't stand the liberal media. We are so tired of the stupid shit, the stupid idiots, the agenda based, moronic, left leaning, we got to get Trump attitude. Um, it's fascinating and how obvious it has now become that for 4 years it would be suck on the Bidens, it would be suck up to the Bidens, mulligan for the Bidens, hide the lies of the Bidens, and even when their hands got caught in the cookie jar, they still had to come up with excuses. I mean, not everyone. You listen to Bill Maher, and he's saying to you guys, even the he's saying, you guys in the media are after a rocker because all you've done is you've focused on Trump derangement syndrome. And even when it comes up to Ukraine, the twisting, the turning, the knife in the back mindset that the media wants to do to Trump is unimaginable. All they want to do is stab him, stab him, stab him. Cannot give this guy one bit of an ounce. And it's very funny story because one commentator laughed at the end. Ha ha ha! Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize. Man deserves it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the network. I'm David Solomon. He is Stuart Brisgell. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern, we do this thing called ranting. That's why we love to rant all about stuff that is we are unedited, uncensored, unfiltered, and certainly unapologetic. We love focusing on politics, but we talk about the absurdity of modern life and what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. The nuttiness that we deal with is, unfortunately, it's whispered in certain circles. You can't talk about it out loud because people are afraid. Still, we're not. So sit back today as we get into this whole thing about Trump, Ukraine, Putin, Zelensky. Stuart, I got to tell you, I was just fascinated how the media skips over details, important facts. Zelensky came to the White House the first time, met Trump and J.D. Vance, and got a beatdown like you can't imagine. Because Zelensky came in, made a comment, and Trump kind of looked at him going in front of the meeting, going, "What the hell are you trying to pull here, dude? You're not in a position of strength." Fast forward, Zelensky meets Trump, and now Zelensky is kind of hat in hand going to Donald Trump saying, "I need your help. I really do. I can't finish this war." And on this time, the visit, he comes into the Oval Office. He is not dressed in military gear and all that stuff. He got dressed up just a little bit, and it was appropriate. But what did the media want to focus on? How Trump offended another international leader. They can't get off of the fact that Trump is moving towards a reconciliation that Biden didn't do, a war that Biden let go. And the media just wants to focus on Melania Trump sending a letter to Mrs. Putin. I mean, like, it's not even funny what the media is trying to do. Stuart, you take it away.
Okay. David, it's a great start. The Trump derangement syndrome is something that isn't going to end.
Nope.
There is nothing in the world, in politics or in life, that the family could do right. And I'll tell you why. It's very simple. It's one word. Starts with the letter J, called jealousy. I truly believe this is no more than not high school, but elementary class jealousy. And I'll be honest with you, where they have failed in the schoolyard, the Democrats, and continue to fail, they even go so far as trying to copy the guy's style. Now, you and I have spoken over 5 years, not a fan of his style, definitely the least presidential president in history. However, now you get guys like Gavin Newsom. I like that. I like when he makes fun of people, or Little Crockett in Texas, or AO what crap. He plays like he's a roughneck in a schoolyard. And the funny thing is, he isn't the bully. He's the guy that just punches back. But every time he punches back, unless you're on Bill Maher's news network or Fox News, you would never believe that he did anything right. And even Bill Maher concedes that the guy saved people from dying. Give him an applause. No. Donald Trump, he profited off those dead people because he used the plane that we paid for. You know, they don't really have a way on see. No, he stopped the war. No. He's opening hotels. He's making money. That's why he stopped the war. They cannot get their heads around the fact that the guy keeps doing right. They forget the fact that the Obamas, the Clintons, the Bidens were broke before they got into politics. Broke. They were nobodies. They were nobodies. In fact, you know what? They're again becoming irrelevant nobodies. And well, actually, no, the Clintons are becoming very, 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 very popular, probably more with the Department of Justice as of late. But you really got to take this one step further. Why can't anyone give Donald Trump a thumbs up?
Oh, that's easy.
It's just jealousy, David. It is utter jealousy. They cannot get their heads around that he is outsmarting, outwitted, and outplayed every one of these academics or politically correct persons. You know, he doesn't change his stripes because the media tries to pull him to a direction. He stays on his path, which he believes is the path of the American people. And if you ask the majority of Americans today, they're going to agree. They may not like his antics, his vernacular, or his methods, but it's what he delivers to each and every single American. And, you know, I am hard pressed to find even a liberal Krupnik, even like Newscomb, who could actually say he's not better off without him. You know, he talks out of one side, but looks at his bank account and 401k statement and his investment accounts and goes, I'm rocking and rolling. Keep going, Donald. Yeah, lower that mortgage rate so I can buy more stuff on credit and not have to care. They can't give the guy a pass. AOC, you know, she can't give the guy a pass. You know, these politicians that want to be yelling and screaming are trying to emulate the guy in which they try and massacre. It's just funny. I just can't stop but laugh, David. I'm sorry.
You know, Stuart, you went down that path of the Democrats, and I think the Democrats are playing their game. The Democrats are here to play their game, Stuart. That's what they're here to do. They're here to get reelected. Not that they know how to do it right now. You know, putting in a guy like Mamdani as their leader and their face of the party I think, is colossal disaster. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, it scares the crap out of a lot of people, but it might shake the Democratic Party to realize, you know what? You guys are going too far. You know, but look, AOC won, Bernie won, so they think, hey, let's bring in Mamdani. Elizabeth Warren's happy about it. Fine. That's what the party wants. And that's not really what's going on. This is their answer to Donald Trump. The answer to Donald Trump is everything he builds, we need to destroy. So when it comes up to the Ukraine, where for 3 years, millions have died, you know, people on both sides, many innocent victims that the media conveniently has forgotten to talk about, the displacement of millions of Ukrainians and resettlement around the world, including Poland, which is ironic that the Poles took in the Ukrainians. It's a whole other story that no one really wants to get into. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that Joe Biden let a war happen, and Stewart was the one who talked about at the beginning that it was going to really hurt us at the grocery store. Nobody really wants to talk about that, and on and on and on and on. The media has decided which parts of the story it wants to convey. And then there's what it does to Trump and what they're telling you. And as I talked about on Monday's rant, it's amazing what the media can get away with. thanks to the First Amendment, say and do whatever you want. To say that Donald Trump didn't come out with a peace treaty with Putin is absolute absurdity.
Mm.
How can a person not involved in the war directly negotiate on behalf of Ukraine? Like the absurdity is off the charts. And we saw the European leaders, and even the ones who hate him the most, had to say, "You got it right, Donald." They didn't just say it because they were in the White House. They said it because it's true. These are lefty leaders. Keir Starmer there, Emmanuel Macron, who's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
The head of the European Union was there. All these other leaders are there, and they're all around the table going, "You got us on the right track. Now we need to do a deal." Now, will Donald Trump do a victory lap saying, "Look at me, I'm great, I'm the best president, look what I've done"? Absolutely, and we expect that from the Don. We expect him to. He is the boaster. He is the biggest con salesman, whatever you want to call him. Great, super. But he got it done. Someone made a very interesting remark, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was. There have been numerous conflicts that he stopped. India, Pakistan, he stopped. There was one with, in Asia. There's a bunch and it was one in Africa. You didn't hear about it because just like the Abraham Accords, you can't give Donald Trump any positivity because it's good. And when if you remember what happened in 2020 when he brought Bahrain and UAE and Morocco and South Sudan to sign on the White House lawn, media outlets didn't show the signatures on the White House lawn. They ignored the event because you can't give Donald Trump a high five here. Donald Trump, since he's gotten into office, Stuart, we're August 20th. He got in January 20th. So it's 7 months. Has done more than Biden and Obama combined in 12 years. In 7 months. Not everything's perfect. I agree. I can talk about the tariffs till I'm blue in the face. Not the way I would have done it, but look at the dust settling and look what he's done for America. Look what he's done at the border. Look what he's done with crime. Look what he's done with illegal immigration. Look what he's done with Ukraine. Joe Biden, all he wanted to do was send arms to the Ukraine. Imagine, Stuart, Joe Biden wanted to keep a war going. Donald Trump wants to stop it. And the media is lambasting him for that decision. What the hell is wrong with you?
Well, again, we talked about politicians flip-flopping. The Democrats were anti-war. Well, no, they're the sponsor of war, but Ukraine is my example. And the Republicans were the warmongers, and the Democrats were not, and they flip-flopped. Donald Trump says openly, "I don't want 7,000 people to die a day. I'm not getting together with you next month. We're getting together tomorrow." Right. The level of urgency that this president has given the death and carnage in a foreign land is unprecedented. No American president in history has paid so much attention to the death and carnage that's going on and finding solutions to prevent it. Is it a matter of that the guy's found God since he got shot in the head? Or is it the fact that he is truly a patriot of the world? He is American first. That doesn't mean no one else comes second. And I believe firmly and honestly, when you looked at that meeting with Macron and the whole gang of Europe, they came in 48 hours to sit next to the president. Who was getting to sit next to Donald J. Trump was the argument of the room. I hate to say this, David, but I didn't hear the word Carney being invited.
Oh, I was waiting for you to bring in Carney. Carney has nothing to do with it, though. This is not a Canadian matter.
Absolutely. And you know what? It just doesn't matter. They want to sit next to Donald Trump.
No,
I want to know, David. I want to know.
I think you have Carney derangement syndrome. But Stuart, here's the thing. He's not even your prime minister. I'm the one who have to suffer with him. But you can't imagine the vilification in media of Donald Trump on the left, the liberal media, what they try to do. What they try to do is to discredit whatever he does. Now it's about painting the wall black. Ha, ha, ha. Like, It's just an amazing amount of absurdity. And I'm applauding certain media people who finally stood up and said, guys doing stuff. Like, why are we trashing the guy? His popularity has grown. Joe Biden didn't have this kind of popularity in office. And yet Donald Trump is here. And when you hear stupid things like Mark Hamill saying, "Oh, I was going to leave the US when Trump was reelected because he's such a liberal," and yada da da da, shake your head, people. You don't have to like the guy, but look what he's doing. And if it's not to your liking, then get the hell out. Go find another country to live in, like Rosie O'Donnell. I don't really care.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Okay, I don't care. But here's the thing, Stuart. He's getting shit done. Last word to you, my friend.
No matter what he does, they're going to hate him. No matter what you say, they're still going to hate him. And I want to bring up one topic, which I'm going to save for Friday's rant. Even MS, no, not now, no, can't even give the guy a victory lap.
They'll never give him an MSNBC could care less. In fact,
no, it's no longer MSNBC. It's MS no, NOW. It's no longer MSNBC. They have parted ways, David. You need to pay attention. And I want to make sure that Friday, because David's now going to be, what are you talking about? MS no is the new name of the hate network, just so you know, like Al Jazeera, it's MS no.
The Al Jazeera version in the United States. We'll talk about that on Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Come back Monday. I'm sorry, Monday.